And that'll be it.
That's the best way to do
That's the
it.
best way to go.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, you're in charge, Leo.
All
right. Okay. And did it. You don't have a choice.
It's like a silent.
Yeah, she didn't say. Everybody did.
Exactly.
Because I don't know how to keep the volume and not have a screen.
Zoe, how do we turn the screen off?
Yeah, that works. We'll just have a beautiful scene.
We want to keep the volume on, but
The
not.
volume is on and we'll just see this. Okay, we're gonna get started with our last session. I'm so happy that you guys are sticking with us. It's a long day, but we're trying to feed you with sugar and caffeine back there.
I'm sorry, we're off task here. What were you saying?
I'm just saying, I'm glad that you're here and sticking with us. We're gonna get started. Our last session is just that we wanted to create a dialogue with you and be able to discuss or continue the Q&As about the Equal Rights Amendment, it's the issue itself or political process, whatever you guys need to clarify. And I think some thoughts I was having is that we want to remember this is a long game. If you didn't realize it was, because how many years have we've been working for it? It's almost 100. So when you're forming those relationships or you're getting your ask, if they didn't do what you wanted them to do, it doesn't mean that you can use your vote to make a difference, or you just keep at it or try different angles. There have been lots of examples when legislators have changed their mind due to their constituents educating them. So just think of the long game, form those relationships, and we want to hope that all of the efforts we're doing today will make you feel empowered to help us and help whatever organization. So if you want to be a volunteer, if you're willing to table it for us, if you're willing to speak at community events, if you want to be part of our monthly coalition meetings where we're strategizing and making plans, if you want to do that, if you want to level up, make a little note next to your name on the sign up saying what are those things, because each person on our subscribers list have tags if they're a volunteer, like if you want to be Sentinel, or volunteer in other ways. If you want to table events, it's like individual tags so that our emails go to those who want to do those things. And if we don't know that you want to do those, you might be missing those calls out. When we have events coming up that some of us, that the four of us can't go to, or our coalition members can't go to, we need those volunteers to be willing to show up. So we wanted to give you this education today so that you feel empowered to show up and be able to confidently speak on the ERA and to not have to worry if you don't know everything. But if you have a pitch, a quick story of why you care and something personal, then somebody may be willing to sign your petition or take a postcard from you. It doesn't have to be where you have to know every legal argument, every case. Like if you notice, Diane's mind is an encyclopedia and it's like all there. We can't compare ourselves to her. We do what we can. And I always tell people that we can't help everyone, but we can help someone. And sometimes the world's problems just feel so overwhelming, but we do what we can with what we've got, and that's enough. So if we can start now with a Q&A, if any of you felt like you wanted to share something throughout the day, we'll start with questions, and then hopefully, and after that, I want to give specific call to action so that we do something together, if you're willing. I thought just today, we'll gather, get a photo, and in real time, we're gonna make a social media post, and we'll talk about that together. Use the hashtags and tag our members to make sure they see it. I want them to see that the people coming to pitch them are now empowered to do so with a lot of knowledge and resources. And and we have those call to actions at the end, and that also can be a dialogue. And let's start, and we can use those last few minutes to strategize. Like what's next in Arizona? What can you guys do here and in this state and for the federal Congress to lift this deadline like that? Okay, so let's get started.
Question over there.
My question is, while all of us will
question and then let the panel answer so that everyone can hear. Her question was, now that we know this, what's next, and then throughout the year, we'll be sharing information from today, but once the session starts in January, what are our activities or planned activities gonna look like? If you're on our subscribers list, you will be updated. We will be letting you know the process, but let's let Diane go with that one.
And as I mentioned earlier, once the session starts, I put out a weekly alert. And in that alert is not only what's happening on the ERA, but all of the 6 principles of now. The ERA is one of them, reproductive choice is another, racism is another, economic justice is another, and those are the 2 more. Anyway, there's 6 of them. So those are the 6 issues that I then follow. And I will tell you what's happening, not only at the legislature, but if there's other things happening, whether it's SOS and some kinds of things. So make sure that you get on that list, because you will then get that once a week and over the weekend, and it will tell you what's coming up the next week to do, and also in the future to do. And as she said, if you're on our MailChimp, then you will get, however, how often do you send them out? Like now, it's only about once every 2-3 weeks, but.
Well, we have something to say.
Yeah.
It's about once a month.
Right now, I send them out about once a month so that everybody's getting an overview of the public information from our coalition meeting. When the legislature's in session and they start in January and go for 100 days, then we'll be right on top of who's co-sponsoring our bill this year, who do we want you to call,
When we have an event.
when we have an event. So there's a event at the start, like the first day of the session, that we'll probably have people come down for wearing sashes and buttons so that everybody knows, hi, we're still here. And then we'll give a packet to the legislature, and then we'll follow those bills through and continue to invite you down. We'll table with AAW and NOW and the different groups.
I forgot something really important.
Okay, this is part of our board. This is Rebecca McHood. She does a lot of the emails that you're getting, and she also helps social media and events, and she coordinates our volunteer sentinels, among other things.
And she is the most creative person in the universe.
Yeah, I mean, I already told someone else. She is so engaged in the political process in Arizona, probably more than anyone I know personally. Like, she's always there and on every issue. Okay, and she knows every legislator and everything they've ever done. She's got a degree in political science, and she's
And the little bears with the equal
yeah,
rights thing.
she's our sash lady, FYI. She sews all those sashes. She has a list of, she has volunteers that help letter it, and sew it, but she is the founder of our sashes. And Pat said here, Dianne is also from now, but she does all of our website, a lot of our graphic designs, at least in the last few months. She took over from Karen Bravo, and she also provided the food today, and she tables for us, among other things, so thanks. And then Dianne Post, you met, she is, already spoke, she's our legal advisor and lawyer, and make sure we're doing everything legally and having all the correct information.
I don't make sure you do everything legally.
I'm
not in favor of that.
Organization.
Bail us out.
Yeah, she'll bail you out. Okay,
All right, so,
did that answer your question, what we're gonna be doing? We have a folder we're giving them on the first day of legislative that's gonna have the list of businesses, the list of clergies, a cover letter. They're gonna get a packet from us on the first day.
And that's what you can do between now and then. We need more businesses on the list. We need more clergy members on the list. We have a clergy letter they can sign, or they can just send us an email and say, yes, I support the ERA, put me on your list. Same with the businesses. There's a letter they can sign, there's a little clean sticker they can get, there's a placard they can get to put in the window of their business, or they can just send us an email and say, put me on your list. It doesn't cost them anything, but it builds up our list. We have, I think, a little over 100 businesses now, and 50 clergy. But we need it from all over the state, so you can do that right now, because December 31 is our cutoff date, so that we can get everything copied for when they start on January 10th. So those are 2 very practical things to do. Sign up businesses, sign up clergy, yes.
Is the commitment letter for businesses on the website? Can we print it from there and take it to a business?
It is not on the website. She can put it on there, Pat says.
Yeah, because otherwise how do we
yeah, it's not.
knowledgeable?
Well, you email erataskforce@gmail.com and we'll email it back to you.
I mean,
could
we
do
have,
that.
we have copies in the back.
And there are, no, that's not the same business letter. That's the business sign-up thing, but there is a business letter.
Oh, I have them, I didn't put them on the table.
Okay,
I have the business letters,
Okay.
yeah.
But it's as simple as using your business card and writing ERS on your business
Right.
card, or just emailing us one sentence. This business supports the ERA, here's how to spell it. That's it.
Super easy.
Okay, great.
Next question. Any other questions?
Okay, I feel like we got cut short with your explaining ERA stuff and some of how to spell some of the myths. What are the arguments against? So what else, was there anything that you guys felt you didn't quite understand during Diane's session about the Equal Rights Amendment? What it could do for us? Why we're still talking about it?
Well, I just had a question too, how you broke down the levels of scrutiny, and is there somewhere that, I mean, I was kind of taking some notes, but is there somewhere that I could refer back to? Because I would like to share that particular angle.
no.
Okay.
It's in my 10-page paper on why the 14th Amendment does not protect women. I can email you that. I don't think that's on our webpage either.
Well, do you mean the levels of scrutiny? I thought it was in one of the resource explanations.
Actually, I think you're right. I think it is on the
You can
website.
find it on the website.
You did say it was on.
It's under resources, right? It's under resources, you're right, it is. And it's not me, it's not my explanation, but it's an explanation from, I think, the Alice Paul Institute maybe, or some other bunch of lawyers that did that. So yes, I think you're right, I think it is on the website. So, does that answer that question?
Yes.
All right, one other thing I did not get to was the rescission issue. That is another legal issue that they bring up against us and have brought up against us in this legislature here. And that is that 5 states have attempted to rescind the ERA after they passed it. And in all of, I think it's Tennessee and Idaho and whatever the other 3 are. Each of them went from blue to red and then tried to rescind it. So there was a decision in the Idaho case, and this was absolutely wrongly stated by Mr. Farnsworth in the Senate, that the Idaho one, they went all the way to the Supreme Court and said, you know, we want to rescind, and other people said you can't. Well, it went to the Supreme Court, and what the Supreme Court said was, it's moot. M-O-O-T. It's moot, because the ERA didn't pass. So I, Supreme Court, do not have to decide whether your rescission is valid or not, because it didn't pass. So there's no question here. So it's moot. So it was never decided, that particular one was never decided. Well, let me finish that thought, and I'll finish the other one. So what Farnsworth said on the floor of the Senate was that the Supreme Court said the ERA was moot. That is not what the Supreme Court said. That is a lie. And he claims to be a lawyer, so he knows it's a lie. But that's the kind of misinformation that goes out there. And that's not what the Supreme Court said about that case at all. I was hopping up and down. I was on crutches that day. And I was hopping up and down up in the gallery going, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. Okay. So there have been, as with the timeline question, there have been cases from the Supreme Court about rescission. After the Civil War amendments were passed, again, some states tried to rescind, New Jersey being one, Tennessee being another. They had passed the Civil War amendments and then tried to rescind them when they changed parties, and that time it was reverse parties. The Republicans were in favor of the Civil War amendments and the Democrats were against it. So they completely switched between now and then, but at any rate, that's the way it was then. So they tried to rescind, and those cases went to the United States Supreme Court. The United States Supreme Court said, absolutely not. Can't do it. You cannot rescind. Once you have passed it, you're done. You've done your job, you're done. You can't rescind a contract that you signed 5 years ago, can you? No, you can't. So that one we know will win. But, to that lawsuit, we know will win. But, we just as soon avoid it. As all lawsuits, it's easier to avoid it than to actually fight it all the way to the Supreme Court. And you know what a weirdo Supreme Court we got right now. So what we want to do is get 5 over. So when there's 38, we're not stopping. And we want the state legislature to know this. We're not stopping when Virginia passes it in February. We're not stopping, so you're not off the hook. we're gonna keep on going until Arizona passes it. And hopefully 5 other states. I mean, we want all 50 of them, right?
Sure.
So that's the legal issue on the rescission. That one we're sure we'll win. But again, better not to fight it if we can get away with it. Other things that you can do between now and December 31st, as she mentioned, is letters to the editor. If one person sends in a letter to the editor on the ERA, it will not be published. If 10 people do, one of them will be published. So, have a wine and cheese with 10 of your friends and you all write a letter to the editor. Mail them in. One of you will get published. But if
There's
one of you
exhaustive
sends it in, they
resources.
won't.
Yeah, there's exhaustive resources on the website.
About doing
Yeah,
that.
on the website, there's exhaustive resources about how to get a letter to editor in, tips of how to make sure they publish it. And a lot of it is connecting it with what's going on in the news or responding to a previous article. Those get chosen often.
Yes.
I did look on the website, and at the bottom of the resources, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom, is the description of the levels.
For the strict scrutiny?
And resources is
a tab under Take Action tab. Yeah, there's lots of buttons you have to push to find some of the stuff.
Although I don't have a question, I would like to say kudos to your website. It is fabulous. There's so much good stuff on there, much of I've used, it's taken to other places, so,
good.
I for one, I know we all really appreciate the hard work you're doing.
Welcome.
Thank you. Our board is amazing, and in all of the, I've worked in a lot of activist groups with a lot of women, and one thing that I love about this board is that we're always lifting, and we want to help everyone to be as effective as they can be. So Diane's she's got all these accomplishments, and she's just lifting people all the time around her, and hopefully our website can help you all to follow that as well, and keep lifting each other.
And we don't have any drama.
Yeah,
That's true.
We like that.
That has helped.
Yeah. So do you have a crystal ball among you that you're looking at the legislature coming up, and what are we seeing for here?
We'd like to answer that.
My crystal ball for Virginia is that it's going to ratify in February.
Yeah,
For Arizona, we're looking at have our best shot is 2021. Maybe not this session, but doesn't mean that we're not gonna keep trying, because we've been surprised, and we've gotten a little bit closer every decade, and we got even closer this last session. One of the legislators asked, who does the ERA Task Force AZ hire for their lobbyists? They are just everywhere. And we were so proud to say, no, this is all volunteers, and we're all working together, and what we were able to accomplish in the last 2 years is impressive. The amount of attention we brought to this issue compared to the last several decades is impressive. And we were also working on that. People were now paying attention based on the women's marches, the Me Too movements, and other issues that are getting people to pay attention. So it's great that we've been able to connect those and show, here's the solution. It's not going to cure everything, but it's a solution.
I know that you've made presentations at We the People forums and gatherings like that. Have you already made the rounds of all the legislative district meetings? Have you already spoken to community groups that welcome speakers on civic issues? Or do you want help with that?
2 things. We always need help with that. All of the LDs have been contacted, both the Republican and the Democratic. A lot of the Democratic LDs have asked someone to come and speak, not all of them. And two Republican LDs did. I spoke at one here, and someone spoke at one in Tucson.
I spoke at one in LD 25.
Oh, you did too?
Yeah, earlier in the year, I spoke at LD 25.
Okay.
A public town hall, but it was on the ERA. Tyler Pace and I spoke at that.
Okay, and I spoke at 24, and you didn't speak in Tucson, but you were there.
Oh, I spoke.
Oh, you spoke too, okay.
Republican LDs?
Yes,
These are?
yes,
Only 3, yeah.
yes. You were in 3?
If you know of something,
But-
invite us, and then we'll find a speaker.
We have not been to every group under the sun. We have been to many groups, some twice, but not every group under the sun. So if you know in churches too, I mean, I've spoken at a lot of churches, and that's good too. So, yes, we need help with that.
And campuses, we've been on a
Campuses.
couple college campuses.
Yeah. If you've been paying attention the last few months, so one of us, or a couple, in addition to other board members or other coalition members, we've been somewhere almost every single day. If you looked at our schedule the last 3 months,
Yep.
almost every day someone is somewhere speaking or tabling an event, or at a parade, or speaking at the city council, or at a college campus, wherever we're invited, we're trying to get there. But we looked at certain events and tried to get in the door where we knew we could reach a group of people that might not have heard of the ERA. So hopefully that pays off in the long run. We're doing a long game right now.
What's the ask if you table?
Do you wanna, let Pat, you know this one, you just tabled, we have our letters, we have more than one ask.
We have postcards to our local representatives that we ask people to sign, and we ask them to just put, you don't have to do a lot, you just have to put your name and your zip code, your Irish zip code, and then we'll fill out everything else for you. And then we have letters that go to Washington that are asking to extend the deadline for the
Remove
ERA.
it, remove it.
Remove or extend, either one.
Yeah.
It's both.
And
Oh,
so,
okay.
so we'll collect those as well and mail them for you. So those are the two things that we ask when we table. And then we also have a lot of information, and of course, we ask for donations, and, you know, have our stuff there,
And
so.
just sign on to our subscriber list.
Yes, that's.
Those four. So it's pretty easy, if you were to do it for us, we give you the materials and you sit at a table and just have people sign up, take a postcard or sign a postcard, here, sign this letter, sign up for your businesses, it's like, it keeps growing as the year goes on. So now it's like several asks, because of the business and clergy list. That's a good question. So, who here would do that for us? Awesome.
Hey, great.
Make sure we know that, otherwise
Yes.
you won't be on the email list to be asked.
So you have to be on our tag. We have to tag you as a person willing to table or volunteer or whatever.
So we know,
There's
yeah.
several things we ask our subscribers to do so that you'll be asked next event. There is a couple coming up that can you think of any coming up that we don't have someone assigned?
Yeah, the Sunday, the 10th in Wickenburg.
Oh. It helps if you know people in other parts of the state, because then you can say, my friend lives there, she'll do it, or you.
Anybody know anybody in Wickenburg?
Only like
Where, how
10
far
people.
away is it from here?
It's about an hour from Central Phoenix.
Yeah.
North-
Easy drive.
Northwest, right?
I could maybe do it.
Awesome. Yeah.
We've got, it's
I
a
think there's a
3-day,
bluegrass festival
Yes.
happening.
I love food.
it's a bluegrass festival.
Perfect. There's made for me.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
All right, I'll get back to you, I know who you are.
Yes.
All right, let's get to our call to action.
Let's get to our call to action. We can wrap up. If you're willing to be on a public post, I'm gonna ask you to stand around.
Oh.
Come gather.
Come up here.
We're gonna do, sometimes, we're gonna gather under this sign over here. I have learned that I get, for some reason, some selfies with a bunch of people in it get a lot of clicks because it looks fun. So I'm gonna do a selfie and then I'm gonna do a regular normal picture. We're gonna post about it and then you get to share our post.
Which way?
Oh, we're gonna go over that's a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
Even out the lights.
Hey, Rebecca, did you explain the bottom?
It was our entry in Miami, Fiesta Days parade.